Hello, it's Mr. Thompson here, and I'm going to talk you through how to plot linear graphs. This is grade D at GCSE or level 6 at Key Stage 3. So let's get started. So you'll be asked to plot the line of the equation y equals 2x plus 1, for example. Now, this line, the definition of a line is that it will go on and on and on forever. So you need to plot some coordinates, find some coordinates that are on that line. And you're going to do that by using different values for x. It does not matter which value for x you use, it just means that for every different value of x there will be a different coordinate, and all of those coordinates will be on this line. So the first thing you need to do when you get this type of question is to draw yourself a little grid. So that's what I'm going to do. And to start, I'm going to put x up at the top left here. Now, as I said, it doesn't matter what value you use for x, it will just generate different coordinates on that line. Sometimes in an exam question, for example, you will be given numbers to take for x. Sometimes you will get to choose. So, we're going to start with this equation here, and I'm just going to use remember, you can use any numbers you like. I'm just going to put 3, 1, and we're going to go with a negative. We'll use negative 3 in there as well. Okay, now these are our different values for x. I'm going to look at this first bit of the equation, which says 2x. So that is what I'm going to write underneath x. We're going to find out what 2x is. And that's going to be another row. Sometimes you will not be given this row in an exam question. You need to, it's up to you. You can add a row in just to help you out. So if 3 is we're taking 3 as our x value, so 2x, let's do this in a different colour, will be 6. Okay, now we're going to take 1 as our x value for a different coordinate, so 2x would be 2. Now with negative numbers, be very careful. I'm going to take negative 3 as my x value. So 2x would be 2 times whatever x is, in this case negative 3. So 2 times negative 3 gives me negative 6. Now, so that's us done for the time being. We're going to go on to the next row now. The next row is going to be the second part of the equation. We've done the first part, there's 2x. Now the next part is going to be, in fact, let's just underline that and that. We're going to underline that and that down here now. So the next part of the equation is plus 1. Now, as you can see, this is not dependent on what x is. So this is just going to be plus 1 the whole way along. So that's plus 1, and plus 1. Okay, now we're going to work out, we're going to add our last row, which is y. Now y, as we're told in the equation, is equal to 2x plus 1. So what we're going to do, this is our 2x, this is our plus 1, we're just going to add these two boxes together. So 6 plus 1 gives me 7. 2 plus 1 gives me 3. And be careful here, I've got negative 6 and I'm adding 1 to that. That actually gives me negative 5. Okay, so here now we've got our x value, and here is our y value. So these two numbers will form our first coordinate on the line y equals 2x plus 1. So just to make life a little bit easier for myself, I'm going to take note of the coordinates. So remember, x comes first, so my x coordinate is 3 and my y coordinate is 7. Again, on the next one, my x coordinate will be 1 and my y coordinate will be 3. So this becomes 1, 3. And then finally, when my x coordinate is negative 3, my y coordinate is going to be negative 5. Remember, x, then y. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to use these coordinates one at a time to put it onto a graph and plot our graph. So we can see that our first coordinate we want to plot is 3, 7. So I'm going to go over to my axes and I'm going to go across to 3 and up all the way to 7. Okay, so that's 3, 7. Our next coordinate was 1, 3. So I'm going to go 1, then all the way up to 3. and then finally negative 3, negative 5. Negative 3 all the way down to negative 5. If we've got this right, all of these points should lie on the same line. Once we've plotted our points, we're going to join them up with a straight line, and we can see that all those points lie on the same line. So we have now drawn the line there of y equals 2x plus 1. Okay, so we'll try something a little bit more difficult now. We're going to use this equation here for the straight line is y equals negative 4x minus 2. So this is the equation of a different straight line. We're going to start off exactly the same as we did before by drawing ourselves a nice little grid. And once again, it doesn't matter what values you take for x. In this example, I'm going to use the numbers 2. I'm going to use the number 1, and then I'm going to use negative 2. Okay, so we've chosen our values for x. The next thing we need to do is the first part of the equation and include the sign here. So this is negative 4x. So that becomes our next line here. Negative 4x. This bit here. So we're now going to fill in each of these boxes. So negative 4x means negative 4 times x. So if x is 2, negative 4 times 2 gives me negative 8. Be very careful with your rules for multiplying negative numbers. When x is 1, negative 4 times 1 gives me negative 4. And remember our rules once again for multiplying negatives. Negative 4 times negative 2 will give me positive 8. That's a positive number. Okay, so we've dealt with the negative 4x part of our equation. Now we're going to deal with this negative 2. Now once again, that doesn't change. That's not dependent on the value of x. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to put this negative 2 bit, I'm going to write it in there. That negative 2 doesn't change, as I said, so that's the same all the way across. And then finally we can fill in our y value, which is the same as minus 4x. Can't quite fit that in. Take away 2. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add these two columns together. Negative 8 minus 2 will give me minus 10. Negative 4 minus 2 gives me minus 6. And 8 take away 2 gives me 6. Once again, each of these become coordinates. We've got my x value and we've got my y value. So I'm just going to write my coordinates underneath, the first one being 2, negative 10. The next one being 1, negative 6. And the final one being negative 2, 6. Okay, so let's go back across to our graph. The first coordinate I'm plotting was going to be 2, negative 10. So back to our graph, we're going to go 2 all the way down to negative 10, which is down here. Okay, the next one, let's go back. The next one is going to be 1, negative 6. It's going to be 1, negative 6. And then finally, the last one we're doing is negative 2, 6. So go to negative 2 all the way up to 6. And then we're going to finish this off by joining our points up with a straight line. Now you'll notice for this one here, our line graph goes the opposite way. It's got a negative gradient. That means it slopes down the way. Okay, so we've now plotted the graph of y equals negative 4x minus 2. We're going to go on to something a little bit more difficult still. And the example we're going to do now is this line, this equation here. We've got y equals 4, negative x. As you can see, the number and the x have kind of switched around compared to what we've done previously. So what we're going to do is exactly the same as before. Start with a grid. And I'm going to write my x values here. Once more, it doesn't matter what your x values are, but I'm going to choose 3 values of 3, 1, and let's do a negative 2. Okay, now, so the next bit, we can start with our 4 if we like, just as we did before. This is the first part of our equation, and as you can see, that is not affected by x. So the 4 is just going to be the same all the way across, 4, 4, and 4, because x isn't involved with this 4. The next bit of our equation is the negative x. So let's put this in here, negative x. So if you imagine, we don't write it, but there's actually an invisible 1 in front of this, which means negative 1 times x. So negative 1 times 3 in this case would be negative 3. Negative 1 times 1 would be negative 1. And remembering your rules for multiplying negatives, negative 1 times by negative 2 will actually give me a positive 2. Okay, so then the last stage, as we were doing before, is to, let's do this in blue again, is to add these two rows, these two boxes together. So this will give us y equals 4 take away x. Okay, so if you've done every bit here, it's simply a case then of adding these boxes together. So 4 take away 3 gives me 1. 4 take away 1 gives me 3, and 4 take away, add 2 gives me the 6. Okay, so you're actually adding these boxes together, but 4 plus negative 3 will give me 1, 4 plus negative 1 will give me 3, 4 plus positive 2 will give me 6. And once again, these all form coordinates for us. So our x-coordinate is 3 and our y-coordinate is 1. Our x-coordinate here is 1 and our y-coordinate is 3. And finally here, negative 2 is our x-coordinate and our y-coordinate is 6. Okay, so let's plot these, starting with 3, 1. So I've got 3, 1. My next coordinate was 1, 3. So I'm going to go 1, 3. And my final coordinate was negative 2, 6. Negative 2, 6. Once again, if we've done this right, all 3 coordinates should join up just like this. And because, remember, it was a negative x, this is why the straight line graph slopes down the way like this. Okay, we're going to do one more example, and that's this one. X plus y equals 10. So this is a bit different to normal, because in previous examples we had just x and a number on one side of the equation. This has been rearranged slightly, so we've got x plus y equals 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by drawing our grid once again, and we're going to start with our x value. Again, it doesn't matter what you choose for your x value. I'm going to choose 3, 1 and negative 2. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, whatever our x is, it doesn't matter. But it does matter that when we add y to it, we will always get 10. That's what this equation is telling us. So if x is 3, what do we need to add to 3 to get 10, is what we need to find out. So this one, our y, when x is 3, we need to add 7. And that will give us 10. 3 plus 7 gives me 10. What do we need to add to 1 to get to 10? In this case, it's 9. So our y value is 9. Be careful with our negatives here again. What do we need to add to negative 2 to get to 10? So if you think about your number line, here's 0, here's negative 2, all the way up here is 10. We actually need to add 2 here and 10 here. That's giving me a total of 12, so we need to add 12 there. So because we've got our x and we've got our y, we've now actually got the coordinates. So our first coordinate here is going to be 3, 7. Our next coordinate is going to be 1, 9. And our final coordinate is going to be negative 2, 12. Okay, so let's plot those, starting with this one, 3, 7. So we'll we're going to go to 3, 7. Our next one was 1, 9. 1 all the way up to 9. Then we've got negative 2, 12. Negative 2 all the way up to 12. And then, as before, we're going to join these points up, and we have now plotted the line with the equation of x plus y equals 10, this one here. There it is. Okay, I hope that video's been useful to you. If you need any help with other areas of your maths, please have a look at my YouTube channel and see if there's anything that could give you a hand. Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye.